What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, hit the bell notification, get notified of all the latest videos that we drop on this channel. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to be talking a little bit about Chris Eubank Jr. So Chris Eubank Jr. recently signed a promotional deal with Sauerland, the Sauerland brothers, and the Sauerland brothers, Kali and Nise. They've worked with several fighters in the past. They've constructed the great tournament, WBSS, World Boxing Super Series, which pits guys against each other. I think it was the 8 of the top guys at super middleweight. Chris Eubank Jr. competed in that competition, beat Yildirim, lost to George Groves, and he said that he's basically had a good relationship with these guys since then. And it's always interesting with the Eubank family because they've had relationships and promotional deals with pretty much all sorts, everybody pretty much. I mean, the only one they haven't is Top Rank. Because well, there'll be others, but yeah, they've had relationship with Frank Warren. Dealt with him, I believe, before. I think for the Saunders fight, they've dealt with Matchroom. Had some good displays on Matchroom. I think the Spike O'Sullivan, where he knocked out Spike O'Sullivan, stopped him, and the Nick Blackwell fight, I think those were on Sky. There's been a few of his fights have been on Sky, and I think there was meant to be a Golovkin fight with him on Sky as well. So he's dealt with Hearn, and now it was with PBC up until, I think it was up until maybe the beginning of this year. He was with PBC. Chris Eubank was like, yes, I trust Al Heyman to look after my son. These people I would trust with my son. But again, it was a matter of he was with Heyman, but when he was with Al Heyman, it was literally a case of he just got one fight. I think that was against Korobov, and you're talking about a round and a half of action where Korobov was in the fight. He was doing well. I think Korobov probably won the first round, and I think it was in the second round, it was very, very early. It was either first or second round. Korobov just done himself an injury. I can't remember what type of injury. I think might have been his arm or something. And yeah, so that was with the PBC somewhere in America he fought. But apart from that Korobov fight, boy, I mean, I don't know, that might have even been 2019 or very, very, very early 2020. But yeah, I think that was actually 2019 or something. So Eubank has literally been out of the ring for a good year plus, at least maybe a year to a year and a half. He's been out of the ring, so he certainly needs activity, certainly needs fights. He needs to get back in the ring, and he admitted as much. And he said that he would be looking at sort of a warm-up fight. And in some of his interviews, I think it was IFL TV, they threw names at him. They threw Kell Brook at him, and they threw Liam Williams' name at him. And he said, basically, these guys are just warm-ups for me. So Liam Williams is a decent welterweight, decent middleweight, decent fighter. He performed against, I think the guy's name was Atlantis Fox or something like that. Big, tall American guy. He's about 6'1", 6'2", as a middleweight, and Williams just chopped him down. And he's got some good KOs on his record. He's got some decent power. He is a decent fighter, Liam Williams, but he hasn't been to the sort of levels that Eubank has been to. Granted, you can say, right, Eubank has lost when he stepped up in class. He lost to Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, the Saunders was a very close fight. He mainly lost that fight because he just got started halfway through the fight. He done very well, but the problem was he started fighting in about round 6. The first 5-6 rounds, he was posing. He wasn't doing anything. So that's kind of what lost him that fight for the most part. Lost to George Groves. He didn't have any ideas on the front foot against Groves. He was diving in and swinging, and it was just bad all round for Chris Eubank in that fight. He is, however, kind of a work in progress. I've seen little improvements in him. He's now being trained by Roy Jones, and with this move to the Sauerlands, I hope he does well. But lately, the sort of controversy, not even controversy, it's normal in boxing, but basically Liam Williams has been calling him out quite regularly these days. And obviously, there's good reasons for that, because obviously, Liam Williams, should I say, would get a tremendous purse fighting Chris Eubank Jr. It would be a big money fight for him, and also would be a very good name for Liam Williams to have on his resume. And lately he's been saying, yep, he'd bash Chris Eubank up. He's been saying Chris Eubank Sr. and Jr. are bonkers, they're crazy, they don't know what they're saying, and he's just been basically running his mouth saying, look, I'll beat these guys. And when Chris Eubank was asked about this in an interview, he said, look, I'm not really interested in Liam Williams, but if Liam Williams, if the fans want it, and if the money's right and it makes sense, then I will take Liam Williams if the fans want it and if the money's right, which that's fair enough. And it's one of those fights that I think it would be interesting, it would be entertaining. Eubank has pretty much said that Williams is just levels below him. He's not on his level at all. So you've got that. And I think it's one of these fights where you would have to favor Chris Eubank Jr. if it did happen, because Chris Eubank Jr. boxed at a higher level. He's got much more notable names on his resume. Liam Williams hasn't really fought anybody of real note. He is in line to fight Demetrius Andrade, which that would put him on the map, but he hasn't really fought anybody to make me feel that, right, this guy is I should favor this guy against Eubank. He's all right. He does come forward, and he is a decent fighter. He's a good fighter, don't get me wrong, but I think Eubank Jr., he said he's levels above. I think he might just be that level above a guy like Liam Williams. I think it would be a good fight. It would be an entertaining fight, but I think overall Liam Williams would probably just play into Chris Eubank Jr.'s hands by coming forward and trying to throw bombs and trying to trade with Eubank, because as many others have pointed out, Chris Eubank Jr. thrives when guys come at him and when guys try and rush him and when guys fight him in the pocket. He likes guys to come to him, and then he unleashes his uppercuts and hooks, and he does it very, very well. I mean, when you look at what he done to Avni Yildirim, he destroyed him on the back foot. And I think that sort of style, Liam Williams is a similar sort of style, that it comes forward, likes to tear up, likes to have a scrap, and I think that will just play into Eubank's hands, and Eubank will have it with him all night long. And I would definitely pick Eubank quite confidently to beat Liam Williams, but I think it would be a hard fought victory, and it would be a fight that I would definitely watch. I would definitely tune into, and I think it's one of them where it wouldn't do a whole lot for Eubank. It wouldn't be doing that much, but I think it will get him in the winning column, and it will get eyes on him again and get people sort of believing in him again. It would do some good for his career. I think it would do much more for Liam Williams than it would for Eubank, because obviously Williams is not as well known. This will be sort of the biggest fight on his resume, so if he takes on Eubanks and wins, then it's a much bigger thing for him than it would be for if Eubank won. But yeah, I think it's definitely a worthwhile fight for both guys. For Eubank, it would be a good fight to test the waters, shake off the ring rust, and it would be a great style for him. It would be a good style that I reckon he'd look pretty good against. So that's just my thoughts on it. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. It's just one of them. Just have to wait and see. But yeah, until next time, this is MKO Pugilism. Over and out. Remember, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this one, and I'll catch you on the next one.